basically what we have here is we have some numbers that we track every single week. And you can see, from week to week, the numbers are up, the numbers are down, and we can spend a fair amount of time, kind of like interpreting that data. But from the sense of, you might say, creating a visual workplace or a picture's worth 1,000 words, it's kind of hard to process this, because you're kind of looking up and down, and you're seeing what direction is it going? Is it up? Is it down? And why was it up or why was it down? Like, the information that you get from this is not as obvious as it could be. So Melissa, I think, I'll kind of tee this up by saying, I think you had a bit of an epiphany when you turned these numbers into a run chart, actually using a control chart. This is a control chart that's in KPI Fire. Why don't you switch over to that? Here we have a control chart that is, you'd call it just a run chart if you just had a line, right? What makes this a control chart is the red, the yellow buttons there. Could you turn off the trend line and the target if those are on? There we go. Okay. So now what we have is just a control chart. So the blue line represents the numbers. Is it up? Is it down? Is it up? Is it down? And like a lot of teams who are measuring a number each week, when you have those numbers and you look at them on a spreadsheet, like 1 week it's up and 1 week it's down, and 1 week it's up and 1 week it's down. And we're tending to spend a lot of time like, why is it up? Why is it down? Why is it up? Why is it down? What happened? What's wrong? What did we do right? We're celebrating this week. Oh my gosh, we're terrible the next week. But when you take a broader look at it and you put the data into a control chart, what you see is that we're actually operating within a band of normal variation that is pretty consistent. So you can see that we obviously have something that looks like a periodic trend, but that spike seems to happen every few weeks. So that, we know what that is internally, but this way of looking at the data is a whole new perspective on these weekly huddles, these weekly business reviews that makes the data easier to interpret. Melissa, could you scroll up to the conversion rate one? Because this one, I think, tells like another version of the story that's pretty interesting. What, I guess from this picture here, what we have here is we have a number that we were measuring weekly, and you can see by the blue line that it, goes up and it goes down, it goes up and it goes down. But then there's this point where you see the red line shift. And what happened there is that we know that we made a process change, like we did something different to our conversion process on that week. So, we were anticipating a jump, and really what we had was it jumped way above our top red line. So the lines on this control chart, the median line represents the average or the median, and then the green line is a 1 sigma, the yellow line is a 2 sigma, and the red is a 3 sigma. So based on a given data set, if your points are within those bands, it means you're pretty much within like the normal, what has been normal for your given process. Now, when you jump outside of that, that's a pretty good indication. You might say a statistically significant data event telling you that something's different. And so on that week that looks like it's about April 17th, you see a big jump. And for us, like, we were ready for that jump because we had just made a big change to our process. And so what we did is we went in and we put in what's called a little reset point, so that from that point forward, now, we're starting to look at what normal is for that process moving forward. So Melissa, I want to give you a chance just to comment a little bit on control charts or run charts versus just data in a spreadsheet. And what has that done for how you're able to interpret? You look at a lot of numbers each week.
Yeah. So just looking at the numbers each week, we were looking at them and just plugging them into just a Word Google sheet, and just looking at the numbers, just side by side, saying it was up this week, it was down, or it was down from previous week. It really didn't give us any of the trends. And then even just trying to use it in other software, we didn't have it as a control chart, and then trying to set it up so that it would mimic like a control chart is just a lot of work. So once we plugged it in here, it just really, I think, started painting a very visual picture instead of just reading numbers, as to what was going on with the product and the changes that we were making.
Cool. Okay, awesome. Well, that's a great little commercial for the control charts feature inside KPI Virus.